We're going to go to Florida first, and we're going to go to Paul, who's got a question for you.
Oh, Minda, I want to say thank you so much for your time. This has been so incredible. Actually was born and raised in Hawaii, and I had a neighbor who grew up with polio, so I'm kind of familiar. I have kind of a question for you. I started writing my book recently, and I found that one of the biggest things that hit me from a breakthrough perspective is I had to really go through a lot of like little moments because I think a lot of times people hear about the massive breakthroughs and big things that happen. I'm curious for you, what has been like probably the most memorable little moment of your life that you don't really talk about as much?
Little moment in my life. Um, I I think, I mean, when I wrote this book, it was like, taking an inventory of all these little experiences that really like reflected like who I wanted to be in the book, right? Like I wanted to share these lessons that I've learned along the way. And I think it was sort of like I had to do a deep dive in my childhood, right? Like I was very uncomfortable as a disabled like child. I and I really had to dig into the why behind it. Like I was really self-conscious, and the way I reacted to that was, trying to prove to everyone that I was more than my disability. And in a way, like I became like over involved. I wanted to do everything except sports because I thought I couldn't do sports. Um, in order to show people that I'm not what I supposedly look like. And so just going through this like self-discovery and realizing like, hey, that is part of my story. And the lesson that I wanted to share with kids and the world is that, it doesn't matter the challenges that you go through. It's like we all have something, right, that hinders us or it makes life more difficult, right? But in the book I talk about little things like learning how to walk, like being able to like climb stairs so I could ride the school bus with my sister, and learning these sports. Like, I faced struggles, I made mistakes, and I experienced failure. But I wanted to show like this was a pattern that occurred over my life, but these are lessons that can be taken, right? Like challenges are a normal part of life. And I have this phrase that I use. It's off of a mantra that I have, where I said afterwards I was stronger, I was smarter, I was more confident. Really showing that, once you face a challenge, you absorb it, you learn from it, you make mistakes, and you move on. And this is sort of the attitude that I wanted to share, and that uh, I have like just started, as a little child. And so I don't really have like one single memory in writing this book. It's more about like unearthing those difficult moments as a child with a disability.
Wow, powerful. Thank you so much. I'm all about, impossible equals impossible. And I guess I'm buying your book. So thank you.
Ah, thank